Today is Monday, March 7, 2022, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Congressman Hank Johnson sends a letter to the President Joe Biden saying do more to help black-owned media when it comes to federal advertising dollars. We will talk with the Georgia congressman in our Where's Our Money segment. Also, folks, we were in Selma yesterday for the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, along with Vice President Kamala Harris. I have an exclusive interview with her. We'll also hear from those who spoke there as well about the fierce urgency of now when it comes to voting rights and freedom. A black woman in Texas has her leg broken by a cop for trespassing in an Oklahoma hotel. She was a registered guest. She and her attorney will join us on the show. Also, folks, on today's show, Fit, Live, Win segment, yoga with an African twist. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. All right, folks, every Monday we have our Fit, Live, Win segment where, of course, we talk about health issues, not just working out, but not just diet, but different ways to improve your well-being, your wellness, if you will. And one of the things that a lot of people are really doing is yoga. Now there's some people who are freaking out like, oh, does that mean all of a sudden I'm no longer a Christian? Yo, chill out. No, calm down. All right, yoga is known, of course, for meditation and healing properties. My next guest, they're a husband and wife. They created a way to incorporate movements and music from the African diaspora into yoga. Afro Flow Yoga promotes healing individually and collectively by connecting us to our roots. The CEO and founder is Leslie Salmon Jones, and the COO is Jeff Jones, again, of Afro Flow Yoga. They join us now from Massachusetts. Where in Massachusetts?
We are in Boston.
All right, then. All right. Certainly appreciate it. All right. So Afro Flow Yoga, where did it start? Where did it come from?
Thank you so much, Roland, for having us on your beautiful show here. That was an amazing segment on Selma. We were at the opening of Ava DuVernay's movie years ago for Selma, which created new information for the younger generation. So we appreciate that and everybody's work.
Yeah, so thank you for having us on, and thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. So you asked where we are and how AfroFlow got started, and we often say it started with the ancestors. We're sitting here in a house that's been in Jeff's family for 108 years. And we've been married for 25 years. And when 3 of our parents passed away in the 2000s, early 2000s, we decided to learn more about our ancestry. Jeff, his family, they can trace back to an enslaved young girl who came into Wilmington, North Carolina. And I was born in Toronto of Jamaican and Scottish-Irish descent. We have a book very thick about our Scottish-Irish roots, but 3 of my grandparents who were Jamaican, we didn't know a lot. So we traveled throughout West Africa in 2007. We went to Ghana, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin, and stood in the slave dungeons to really understand, first of all, number one, to answer the prayers of our ancestors, because if you're stolen from your home, you're going to pray to go back. And second of all, to really learn about the methodologies and the dehumanization process of like how such a strong people can be broken down. And that was a science. So we learned about the science. And then through prayer and meditation and doing our own healing journey for 2 years, going to Haiti, Jamaica, and throughout the Americas to really, really connect to that trauma within ourselves. The vision of Afro Flow Yoga came through me, and then Jeff with all the instruments, which he'll tell you about, and learning that yoga has been in Africa for thousands of years.
So it's not, Jeff, an Eastern thing, an Asian thing, as people often say.
Right, and what a lot of people don't know is like there was such a migration and a sharing of wisdom and knowledge between Africa and India. And so there's a really beautiful, beautiful sharing. And you'll see in Egypt on the hieroglyphics, there's so many amazing scholars who are doing this work, and you can see the yoga postures on the hieroglyphics, and it goes into the spiritual practices that are actually connected also to Christianity at the root. So you can see the beauty in the connection to all.
Jeff, go ahead.
Oh, you got, oh, this Jeff.
No, not Jeff Carr, Jeff Jones. I'm gonna come to you, Jeff Carr, in a minute. Jeff Jones, go ahead. She was talking about the music, instrument.
Yes. Well, the music we have back here, we've been virtual for 2 years, although we've been doing work. We were just in Costa Rica, in Nosara, for 5 weeks, where we were at Blue Spirit, working with a lot of psychologists and trauma healing folks. The music back here, I have a djembe that I brought back from Ghana. I have congas. I have a choli lira instrument back there. I won't get out of the camera here, but I also have, we play other instruments. I have my bass here. This is a bass that my dad played with Billie Holiday. And as you can see, that was my dad playing that bass back in at Storyville here in Boston in 1959. That was one of her last gigs. So music's been in my family. My grandmother was an organist, and my parents met in her church, where she was a choir director for many years, Church of All Nations in Boston. The other instruments I use, so we integrate the voice and the music, and we have quite the dynamic of being quiet and then also raising the energy and bringing in the fire and the deities and Shango and all the other amazing deities as far as Yemaya. And as far as the other instruments go, so I have a kalimbas that I also play, but it's integrated with the yoga. So yoga, Kundalini and Vinyasa yoga is connected with, we also bring in a lot of the spiritual jazz to our practice, whether it's John Coltrane, so many, I mean, even Earth, Wind, and Fire type things are so healing, and along with the yoga, and of course with African drumming.
And Negro spirituals.
The old spirituals, yeah.
Jeff's played in many churches, so we incorporate the diaspora.
Yeah, having toured for many years and supporting many vocalists and playing in show bands and traveling around and playing in church, and whether it's clubs or nursing homes or wherever, you know, it's all about healing. People are come to heal, to hear the music.
Well, I've got a couple of my panelists who are big time into yoga. Jeff Carr, Makongo Dabinga, Julian Light. Now, I ain't doing all that. But all three, I'm sure, have comments or questions. Jeff Carr, start with you.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks, Jeff and Leslie, just for everything that you're putting into the world and the dots that you are connecting with the culture, with health, with holistic living, with history. It's just a beautiful thing to behold, and I want to send a shout out, congratulations to you. People who study Pangea and ancient history and understand how the continents were together at one point, understand that whole Dravidian history of India and the connection between that and Egypt. So you all are exuding that in a world of cultural appropriation where you've got Vinyasa, then Bikram. Now they have goat yoga. Now they have Jesus yoga. The evangelicals are doing Jesus yoga now. I think it's an amazing thing to witness what you're doing. I'm pastor of a church where we actually do Yoga Sunday. We're the only church that does a Sunday service dedicated to yoga. So one thing that I wanted to pour back into you and ask about is for those of us who have been practicing a while. I've been practicing about 15 years. I've been teaching about 4 years. How can people train with you all? Have you reached a point where you're bringing people down to study and you're equipping teachers? And if not, is that something that you're doing in the future?
Yeah, thank you. And so exciting about your journey, to hear about your journey. And it sounds like we have a lot to share and in common, so we appreciate that. Yeah, so we actually created a teacher training program because a lot of the information initially really directly came through the ancestors. So, as you said, this information, this wisdom and knowledge has been here. It's within us, within our DNA, our cells. So we've been over the years able to. So I've been practicing. Actually, I came to yoga through Alvin Ailey. I'm a trained dancer. And in 1991, yoga was a requirement. So Alvin Ailey was an amazing yogi. He was a visionary on so many levels. Uh, so bringing in the diaspora, it's really the insertion of that is hard to find in Western yoga now. So we created a curriculum after years of study and doing research and gathering papers and of the history of yoga in Africa, the history, the connection to the healing of dance and music, the spiritual practices that have been interconnected. And it's not, we're not denouncing any spiritual practice. We're opening it to connect so that no one has to denounce. And then the practices, the actual practices, and the yamas and the niyamas. And then we get into community healing, because that's really oftentimes a missing piece. We do bring a lot of the indigenous practices into our yoga practice. So it's done in a circle. So we're connecting heart to heart. We're feeling the roots of each other in the interconnection of each other, as opposed to being set up in a grid system and having our shutters on. So we do the individual and the collective.
Omakongo.
Well, yeah, this is exciting. Greetings from, first of all, from my sisters, Musa Mwadi and Shaumba Debinga. They
We
were
love
with y'all.
them.
Yeah. So, with y'all, the Ailey and everything, and they said, make sure I say what's up, and I was going to do that anyway. So I just want to commend y'all. I mean, the love is just, y'all are just doing amazing things. And, my wife and I, we have our hot yoga studios down here. And so on your way to Nashville to check out Reverend Carr, make sure you stop by us first and we get some sessions in. We'd love to have you as part of our community down here. And just, it would be awesome. The question I have for you, it comes from your website. One of the things I noticed, because with our studios, we're also committed to social justice, and you have a spot on your website specifically talking about racism.
Yes.
What led you to do that in this area of yoga, which we know in the West is white dominated and everything? I mean, what was the intentionality behind that? Because I just feel like it's so amazing that you did that.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it's been really out of a need. As you mentioned, pre-COVID, in so many yoga studios, there was just like not an awareness at all, and almost as if people were in a post-racial society and just no connection, which was causing a lot of trauma for people of color who would walk into the studio and there would be microaggressions, all kinds of things. So when COVID happened, we went virtual right away. And that opened up to global community. Really, we had people from all over the world, which meant they were coming from different places of consciousness, different skin tones, all kinds of cultures. And so then when the racial pandemic, after the murder of George Floyd, so many people just swarmed to us looking for answers. And we found really three situations. One situation were the people who had no idea there was racism, right? That's like, oh my gosh, there's racism, and they're awakening to it right now. So we said, okay, well, let's just go over here with the history, like got some homework to do, because there's history, and you got to learn the history. And they're people who really actually were where they were. Then there were the people who knew and wanted to be really active and allies. So we're like, okay, go on this track. with the anti-racism work. And then there are our folks who are closest to the pain, who need the healing and need to be in a place where they're really being heard and held. And so that's our healing of our roots.
Okay.
That's that.
We've been working with Reverend Liz Walker also. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was a news anchor, one of the first black news anchors here in Boston. Yeah. So we've been doing a lot of trauma and healing with her. And Leslie's one of Leslie's first yoga teachers. His father had been a yogi in Africa also.
Yeah, well, yeah, so...
Hold on 1 second. Hold 1 second, because I'm literally running out of time. I got to get in, Julianne. You can finish that, but Julianne, I got to get your question in.
First of all, I love the way y'all look, and I love your energy, and I might try your yoga. I wasn't going to try Omacongos with that hot stuff, but I might try yours. So thank you so much. Thank you. My question is, how do you get to yoga? I mean, I'm a person, I'm not that still. So that's my problem with yoga, is you have to be too still.
You mean how to slow your butt down and calm down?
Well, yeah, that could be it too.
All right.
I did have a meeting with my host today who said just exactly that. When you go calm down, I'm like, I don't know.
I got about 60 seconds. Who wants to take her question?
Well, we have our classes on Sundays and Thursdays live since we've been virtual. We're already booked again for Costa Rica next year.
Yes.
And we'll be down there for 3 or 4 weeks, but we have other things that we'll be doing throughout the year in different states.
Yes. And how you can slow down and get to yoga is when you come, we'll teach you. But really, the music is really another element, the live music, that helps people calm, get out of the head into the heart, into that embodied practice. And it's for every level. So when you come in, we'll take good care of you. And you don't have to, it's a non-judgment environment.
All right, then. First of all, give the website, please. People want folks to get more information.
AfroFlowYoga.com. AFRO, don't forget the flow, like the water, FLOW, yoga.com. And we have virtual classes, teacher training, retreats coming up, and we'd love to see you. It's for all levels and ages.
All right, then. We appreciate it. Thank you so very much, Leslie and Jeff Jones. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.